Okay, so we have to unpack this. We really do. Because if you were watching cricket on, what was it, January 18th, 2026,
That's the one.
you didn't just see a match. You saw a heist. You saw a fortress just completely crumble.
It was one of those days where the script didn't just get rewritten again, shredded. We're talking, of course, about the third ODI between India and New Zealand.
At the Holkar Stadium in Indore. And the headline, it seems simple enough, right? New Zealand wins by 41 runs. They take the series 2-1.
Yeah, but that doesn't even begin to tell the story. The context is where this whole thing becomes almost unbelievable.
It really is a Mission Impossible situation, and I don't think that's an exaggeration.
Not at all. Let's just lay out the facts. New Zealand turns up in India with a squad that pretty much every report called severely depleted by injury.
So they're already hurting before a ball is even bowled.
Exactly. Then boom, they go 1-0 down in the series straight away.
Right. So you're on the back foot playing catch up against, the biggest powerhouse in world cricket in their own backyard.
And then there's the historical weight of it all. Before this match, New Zealand had tried to win a bilateral ODI series in India 7 times.
And lost every single time.
Every single time. 7 attempts, 7 failures over decades. So this wasn't just a series win. This was their maiden series victory in India. Ever.
And they had to do it at the Holkar Stadium. I mean, talk about a fortress.
Oh, it's the definition of a fortress. India had played 7 ODIs there before this match.
And won all 7.
All 7. 7-0. That stadium is where visiting teams go to get absolutely hammered. It's small, the crowd's on top of you. It's a nightmare for bowlers.
A complete batter's paradise. So for our deep dive today, our mission is to figure out how. How did this depleted underdog team break a fortress that has stood for decades?
And we also have to talk about the flip side of that coin, the sort of bittersweet, tragic brilliance of Virat Kohli's innings, because that's a story in itself.
Oh, we're definitely getting to Kohli. But first, let's stick with this depleted squad idea, because I don't think people really get the scale of the inexperience here.
This is where the numbers just get staggering. It's why we're calling this segment the Goliath versus the Apprentice. The experience gap is astronomical.
So lay it on us. How big was it really?
Okay, so let's just look at caps. The number of matches played. The difference in the average number of ODI caps per player, get this, was 67.6.
Wait, hold on. 67 matches per player, on average.
Per player. On average, just think about that for a second. A really decent international career might be 60 or 70 matches.
So India basically had an entire extra career's worth of experience for every single person on the field.
Pretty much, yeah. In raw totals, India's players had a combined 1,256 caps. New Zealand's 12 players, and that includes 2 debutants, mind you.
2 debutants in a series decider.
Right, they had just 348 caps total.
It's like a team of veterans against a bunch of guys who are still trying to find their way around the stadium.
And it wasn't just caps. In terms of runs, the gap was over 2,000 runs per player. But the most glaring difference, and the one that makes this result so illogical, was the bowling.
Okay.
Coming into this series, not a single one of the New Zealand bowlers had 50 ODI wickets.
Not one.
Not one. Their most experienced bowler was Michael Bracewell. He had 37. So on paper, this win it shouldn't happen.
It defies all the conventional wisdom. So how did they pull it off? Who were the architects here? We have to start with the man who just loves batting against India, Daryl Mitchell.
He really has become India's foremost scourge, hasn't he? I mean, his numbers in this game alone are immense. He scores 137 off 131 balls.
A huge knock. So composed.
But look at the whole series.
Yeah.
He ended up with 352 runs in just 3 matches. That's the most ever by a New Zealander in a 3-match series.
And it's like he only does it in India. The sources call it a love affair.
Yeah, a very one-sided love affair from India's perspective. This was his 4th ODI 100 against India. And the craziest part, all 4 of them have come in India. He is now the first batter ever to hit 5 straight scores of 50-plus against India in India.
That is just mind-bending consistency. But he wasn't alone, was he? He had a partner in crime, Glenn Phillips, who played a completely different game.
Phillips was absolutely crucial. You have to remember the situation when he came into bat. New Zealand were 58 for 3.
That's a shaky position. The crowd's going wild. The bowlers have their tails up.
Exactly. If he fails there, the innings probably folds for, 200, and this is a totally different conversation.
But instead, he goes into what the reports call blitzkrieg mode. 106 off just 88 balls.
And that partnership, they put on 219 runs. But for me, it's not just the runs, it's the tactics. It's how they just dismantled India's spin duo.
Yes, that's the key, isn't it? Kuldeep Yadav and Ravindra Jadeja are supposed to strangle teams in those middle overs.
They're world class. But the visual that sticks out is Mitchell against Kuldeep.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Kuldeep's very first ball of his spell,
Hmm.
Mitchell just comes dancing down the track.
First ball, the nerve. That is a statement.
A huge statement.
Yeah.
Straight six. It basically says, I'm not letting you settle. I'm taking the game to you. It's psychological.
And it clearly worked.
It did. Mitchell's technique was all about that straight bat, punching down the ground. And then at the other end, you've got Phillips, who is just a completely different beast.
Phillips is just chaos theory in batting form.
Right. He's all fast hands, cutting and pulling. And because those boundaries at Holkar is so tiny, any small error in length from the bowler.
And he just muscles it over the rope?
Exactly. So you've got Mitchell going straight, Phillips going square. It's a nightmare to set a field. And the end result was 337 for 8. A massive total.
Which brings us to the chase. And this is where the story pivots. We go from the underdog's triumph to what I'm calling the king's tragic masterpiece.
It's a fitting title. Because India was in a world of trouble early on. They were, what, 71 for 4?
Yeah, the top order just gone. Gill, Rohit, all back in the hut.
And normally, when you're 71 for 4 chasing 338, it's over. Game done. But not when Virat Kohli is still out there.
Even in 2026, he is the man for a crisis.
He is. He scores 124, his 54th ODI 100. And what I found so fascinating was how the sources broke down his innings into 3 distinct phases.
Right, let's go through those because it shows his genius.
So phase 1 they called frenetic. He comes out and just charges the fast bowlers. He's hitting in the air, trying to immediately punch back.
Trying to wrestle back some momentum, show them India's not dead yet.
Exactly. But then, as wickets continue to fall, he shifts into phase 2. Rebuilding. This is the genius part. He goes 52 balls, hitting only 1 boundary.
52 balls with 1 boundary. Chasing that kind of total, that's incredible discipline.
It's pure game awareness. He knew if he got out, it was lights out. So he just focused on rotating the strike. No risks.
Just putting the ego away and doing the work.
And then, when the required rate starts to climb past 9 and over, he hits the button for phase 3. The explosion. He goes from 74 off 76 balls to his 100 in just 91 balls. It was vintage Kohli.
And he's breaking records while he's at it. He passed Sachin for the most venues with an ODI 100, 35 different grounds.
And he also went past Ponting and Sewag for the most hundreds against New Zealand. And this is the tragic part.
He wasn't enough.
Yeah. This was his highest ever score in a losing chase.
Yeah.
124. It's the weight of being that lone warrior, isn't it?
There's something heavy about watching a legend play a hand like that while everything collapses around him.
It really highlights how much India still depends on him in those big chases.
But to be fair, it wasn't entirely a lone hand. There were some sparks from the next generation.
We absolutely shouldn't forget that. This is the silver lining for India. Nitish Kumar Reddy scored 53, and Harshit Rana smashed 52 from just 41 balls.
Both of them getting their first ever ODI 50s in a high-pressure decider like that.
Incredible stuff. They had that 99-run stand with Kohli, and for a little while there, you started to believe. The crowd woke up and you thought, maybe, just maybe.
But it wasn't to be. So let's get to the why. We've talked about the batting, but this game was lost and won with the ball.
100%. The contrast in the spin bowling performance is where the story is. We talked about how Mitchell and Phillips went after the Indian spinners.
And the numbers back it up.
They really do. Kuldeep and Jadeja, India's premier spinners, they went for a combined 89 runs in just 12 overs.
Wow. That is so expensive for them. Those are your controllers.
It is. Now you flip that. You look at New Zealand. They have this young kid, Jaden Lennox. He's playing in only his 2nd ODI.
Second ever ODI. Against that Indian lineup in India.
And on a ground that is notoriously unforgiving to spinners. And what does he do? He goes 2 for 42 in his 10 overs.
That's just gold dust in a game like this. That's match winning.
It absolutely is. He was pinpoint accurate. And then Glenn Phillips, who's a part-timer best, he chips in and is economical too. The inexperienced Kiwi spinners just out-bowled the world-class Indian duo.
That is the story right there.
And we should give a shout-out to one of India's bowlers, the unsung hero, Mohammad Siraj.
Oh, Siraj. What were his figures?
0 for 43 in 10 overs.
Now, to a casual fan, 0 wickets might not sound heroic.
But you have to read the game. When the opposition scores 337, going for just 4.3 and over is magnificent. He was the one bowler that couldn't get away.
How is he doing it?
Wobble seam, pinpoint Yorkers. He single-handedly kept New Zealand from getting to 360, maybe 370. The problem was the lack of support.
Right, because Arshdeep and Rana took wickets, but they were expensive.
Exactly. And for New Zealand, Kyle Jamieson did his job up front, seamed the new ball, got that huge wicket to Shubman Gill. It all just clicked for them.
A complete team effort from New Zealand.
While India relied on individual brilliance,
Yeah.
Kohli with the bat, Siraj with the ball, New Zealand won as a unit.
So, bringing it all together, why does this specific match matter?
I think it matters because it shatters a couple of myths. It proves that a so-called depleted team can beat a powerhouse at home if they have the right tactics and, the right amount of bravery.
It's a victory for strategy over resume.
Perfectly put. And for India, it's a bit of a wake-up call, right? It shows their reliance on Kohli and exposes a vulnerability when their spinners have an off day on a flat pitch.
If Kuldeep and Jadeja aren't taking wickets, who steps up? That's the big question.
And you do have hope with guys like Reddy and Rana showing that fight. But there's a gap between potential and performance,
Yeah.
and New Zealand bridged that gap.
So here's a thought to leave you with then. We spent all this time at the start talking about that experience gap.
The 67 caps.
Yeah, but after seeing this result, does that metric even matter as much anymore? Does a result like this suggest that modern cricket is less about caps earned and more about, format-specific skills and just fearless execution?
That is the provocative question, isn't it?
Maybe the fact these Kiwi players were so inexperienced meant they didn't know they were supposed to lose at indoor. They didn't have that baggage.
Ignorance is bliss. Or maybe fearlessness is the new experience.
Yeah.
You play with more freedom when you have nothing to lose.
Or maybe it was just one of those rare, perfect days for the underdog, where everything clicked for them and almost nothing clicked for the giant, except, of course, the one giant who has been doing it for decades.
And that's why we love the game. You just never know.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.